first pitch.
That's Ben Petrick behind the plate tonight. Yeah, just like old times. Unfortunately, not exactly what he envisioned 7 years ago. 7 years ago, Ben Petrick was the can't-miss kid, the catcher of the future. That all changed when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. He tried to hide it, actually played 3 more years before finally retiring in 2003. Without heavy medication these days, Petrick would struggle to walk. The Parkinson's causes severe stiffness. It's amazing he played with it as long as he did.
You know, I just didn't have the quick twitch muscles that were working like they used to work, and I was telling myself that I was okay and I could do it. But you know, it wasn't serious until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I started going, who are you kidding, man? You know, I mean, you know, really, it was something that wasn't talked about. I think Hurdle knew about it, and doing hitting stuff we used to do together, but not many people knew about it, except for the trainers and myself.
They don't know what causes Parkinson's. They don't have a cure yet. Not if Ben Petrick can help it. His inspiring stories Sunday night on Chevy All Access. Wow. Pretty rare to get that disease under the age of 40. In fact, only 10% of Parkinson's patients have it under the age of 40.
Well, wish him the best. Neat guy. Thanks, Vic.
If you're a Rockies fan, I'm sure you remember the name Ben Petrick. He was dubbed the catcher of the future, and he was well on his way until about 7 years ago. Petrick lost all feeling in his left hand, a sign of things to come.
I was typing on my computer, my left hand wasn't keeping up. And that's when I started feeling that my left side of my body was slowing down and wasn't as loose, or, you know, it was much more rigid.
Toward the end of the 2000 season, his left arm became so stiff he had trouble high-fiving teammates. Catching became an adventure. Couldn't throw out runners. Could barely hold on to the bat. That winter, Petrick visited a specialist who told him something he'd never thought he'd hear. Ben Petrick had Parkinson's.
Everyone was just in shock. Like, there wasn't like, we weren't like crying on the phone. It was just like, you know, it's like, how do you react?
He didn't know quite how to react. Petrick played 3 more years before finally retiring. Catch the rest of that story tonight on Chevy All Access.
Center field, base hit. Rollins is going to put him ahead. Here's the throw to third. Safe at third. Barajas scores. Atkins was arguing at third base, and Rollins moved up. No time was called. Atlanta, Colorado last year. And this ball high in the air to deep left field. Victorino has hit it out. Shane Victorino with his 11th home run of the year. And now it is 7-4.
You mentioned a while back in the broadcast how they have a couple guys in Victorino.
To throw out the first pitch, you get to catch the first pitch today. They made you shift and everything. You still can block the baseball.
Yeah, just pick it. That's all I gotta do. No, it was fun. The guy was thanking me for doing that. Heck, I just caught it. I guess I don't know.
Did a pretty good well job. There. Yeah, that was nice.
All right.
It was like old times.
Well, I don't know about old times. That ball might have gone back behind me if it was old time. No, I was just kidding.
Second round pick of the Rockies.
7 years ago, Ben Petrick burst onto the scene as the catcher of the future. The kid could do it all. Hit, run, throw, a physical specimen. But as good as things were going, something didn't feel quite right.
My first recollection of a symptom was the fall after my first call-up. That when I just couldn't, I was typing on my computer, my left hand wasn't keeping up. And that's when I started feeling that my left side of my body was slowing down and wasn't as loose, or, you know, it was much more rigid.
Toward the end of the 2000 season, his left arm became so stiff he had trouble high-fiving teammates. Catching became an adventure. Couldn't throw out runners. Could barely hold on to the bat. That winter, Petrick visited a specialist who told him something he'd never thought he'd hear. Ben Petrick had Parkinson's.
Everyone was just in shock. Like, there wasn't like, we weren't like crying on the phone. It was just like, you know, it's like, how do you react? How do you
react when your dad is diagnosed with the very same disease just 7 months earlier? Vern Petrick also has Parkinson's. It attacks the central nervous system. Vern can't control the tremors. Ben is overcome with stiffness. There is no known cause, no known cure.
I'm on. And in the Parkinson's world, on means medication's working and you're feeling good. You know, a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know there's a lot going on with me. When I'm off, the medication runs out, I just get a little tremor working, my hands don't work as good, I stiffen up, I can't walk very good.
Petrick takes 15 pills a day. Without him, he'd never be able to conduct this interview. Amazingly, he played this game at the highest level with Parkinson's. He told no one but a few teammates.
I told like Todd, I told Greg Norton, Brent Butler, some of those guys, Mike DeJean, but it was kind of like, I just kind of told him like, it's no big deal. When really it was kind of a big deal. I was trying to tell myself it wasn't that big of a deal.
It's not like you can say, just brush yourself off and walk it off and you can, there's another game tomorrow, you know, this is something that's happening in your brain.
Kelly Petrick saw firsthand what Parkinson's did to her husband, how he'd struggle to tie his shoes, how he'd break down and cry.
First you gotta cry and let it out, and then you have to regroup.
Finally, after the 2003 season, after he was traded to Detroit, Petrick couldn't do it anymore.
You know, I just didn't have the quick twitch muscles that that were working like they used to work, and I was telling myself that I was okay and I could do it. But you know, it wasn't serious until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I started going, who are you kidding, man? You know, I mean, you know, really.
Today, Ben and Kelly live in Oregon. Every once in a while, they'll visit Coors Field to visit old friends. They've got a baby daughter on the way. It's what keeps them going.
I just want to live my life happy, man. That's all I'm doing. I have a great wife, I have a great family, great support. I got a little daughter on the way in October, and I'm fired up for that. I'm just, you know, taking about normal life. You know, I just have to take some pills and have to deal with a few hours a day or more some days, feeling funky and not very good. But that's the hand that I was dealt, and I'm more than happy to deal with it and hopefully help other people in the process.